This week on News Recap, politics took a new turn.
DCP blames the government of not delivering what they promised.
Health concerns sparked a fresh conversation.
The big question remains to Kenyans: is SHA still working?
Security issues continued to make headlines. And groundbreaking discoveries captured global attention. These are the stories shaping our world. News Recap, where the week's biggest story come together.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining our 3 p.m. news update on Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. We bring you the latest across the country. My name is Mwangi
and I am Tabitha.
This week on News Recap, politics took a new turn.
DCP blames the government of not delivering what they promised.
Health concerns sparked a fresh conversation.
The big question remains to Kenyans: is SHA still working?
Security issues continued to make headlines. And groundbreaking discoveries captured global attention. These are the stories shaping our world. News Recap, where the week's biggest story come together.
President William Ruto has lashed out at opposition-affiliated MPs who voted against the Finance Bill 2026-2027.
Speaking in Kirinyaga during the launch of the Coffee Revival program, the head of state accused lawmakers of frustrating Kenya's development agenda and misinforming the public on the bill's contents.
Our reporter, Emily Kimani, has more details.
After announcing new reforms in the coffee sector, President William Ruto turned to politics. He criticized opposition leaders, accusing them of misleading Kenyans about the finance bill and slowing down the country's development efforts.
Kuna wabunge wanapinga ati hiyo mswada. Sasa wewe umetumwa na hawa wananchi wa kahawa, uende bunge usimamie mambo yao pale. Kwa hiyo bill mimi na sign kesho, ambayo wewe unapinga, iko pesa ya kahawa, iko pesa ya mbolea, iko pesa ya kusaidia wananchi wako, na wewe umeenda kuambiwa story na watu ambao hawajui nini inaendelea. Wanakuambia ati uende upinge. Hiyo ni kukosa akili ama ni kuwa na...
As the country moves closer to 2027 general election, political exchange and growing regional support continue to shape the political landscape. These developments are also raising questions about possible alliances and who could be part of the President Ruto campaign team ahead of the next election.
Sasa niwaulize nyinyi watu wa Kirinyaga, mukipima hiyo watu, kuna mtu saizi yangu kwa hiyo watu? Mtu ambaye hana maono, hana sera, hana mpango, hana agenda. Ati ile kazi kubwa akili yake inafika ni kuniita kasongo na kusema one term na kusema must go. Sasa hiyo ni mtu ambaye...
Reporting from TAS TV, I'm Emily Kimani.
Big promises were made by but many projects remain unfinished or missing altogether.
Rising costs and economic hardship, questions continue to grow about what happened to the pledges made by President William Ruto.
From stalled projects to unfulfilled promises, many Kenyans feel let down by the gap between words and action.
As public frustration rises, the demand for accountability grows louder than ever.
Mwangi reports.
Big promises were made, but many projects remain unfinished or missing altogether. As Kenyans struggle with rising costs and economic hardship, questions continue to grow about what happened to the pledges made by President William Ruto. This is the gallery of Ruto's lies.
Hivi itakoma kuua wananchi wa hapa Meru na Tharaka Nithi na sehemu hii. Hii Nithi bridge mimi nitatengeneza.
Kuna bridge hapo imesumbua sisi na nakumbushwa kila siku, inaitwa Nithi bridge. Hiyo Nithi bridge contractor amefika ako kwa hapo. Nimekubaliana na DP hapa, sio this week, hiyo wiki ingine, si ndio DP? The other week. Huyu mjamaa tuko tayari na contractor ana mobilize. Mimi nataka alete contractor the other week ya bridge ya Nithi.
My assurance to you is that we now have a solution.
Imani na hii serikali. Hata kama wamefanya tu vitu zenye hatuelewi, hatuna imani na hii serikali kabisa. Kwa sababu ni serikali ya kusema lakini inasema tu bila matendo. Na si ati pesa ati haiko, pesa haiko. Sasa tunauliza, kwani wanangojea kampeni ifike ili wakuje sasa wapige na hii barabara kampeni? Sababu walisema kuna pesa.
Hata inaanza kupasuka hapo chini. Tutengenezewe hiyo haraka iwezekanavyo. Tuone kama watu wetu sio watarakanithi, ni watu wa Kenya mzima ndio wanakufia hapo. Lakini ukiangalia wale wengi ni wale wanatoka Maua, Meru.
Sasa tumeweka pesa ya serikali 1.7 billion ya kujenga hiyo barabara, barabara kiasi, lakini mainly the bridge.
Tuko na solution ya engineering na tuko na pesa ya kufanya hiyo kazi.
There is two solutions to that bridge. One will cost us 5 billion shillings, and they have designed how it's going to happen. The other one is going to cost us 50 billion shillings.
Hii ni the bridge mimi nitatengeneza. Inahitaji shilingi bilioni 7, ni pesa nyingi.
In 6 months' time, the stadium in Wote will be complete.
The stadium that we had been promised by the government, it will be complete, let's say in 6 months. And this field has become an impediment on how we can grow our talents. We are having a lot of congestion.
From stalled projects to unfulfilled promises, many Kenyans feel let down by the gap between words and action. As public frustration rises, the demand for accountability grows louder than ever. Reporting for TAS TV Tabitha, my name is Mwangi.
A leadership shake-up within the Orange Democratic Movement.
This week on News Recap, politics took a new turn.
DCP blames the government of not delivering what they promised.
Health concerns sparked a fresh conversation.
The big questions remains to Kenyans. Is SHA still working?
Security issues continued to make headlines, and groundbreaking discoveries captured global attention. These are the stories shaping our world. News Recap, where the week's biggest story come together.
A leadership shake-up within the Orange Democratic Movement has triggered fresh political debate after the party endorsed the removal of Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna as the Secretary General.
The move is expected to have significant implications for the party's leadership structure and future political strategy.
Victoria Mwangi reports.
Orange Democratic Movement (ODM) has endorsed the removal of Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna from the position of Secretary General, marking a significant development within the party's leadership. The decision was reached during a meeting of the party National Executive Committee, which deliberated on a report concerning Sifuna's conduct and role within the party. Party leaders say the move is aimed at strengthening internal structures and ensuring unity as ODM positions itself for future political engagements.
The NEC unanimously resolved to adopt the committee's recommendation and endorsed the removal from office of Senator Edwin Watenya Sifuna. Effectively, Senator Sifuna ceases to be the Secretary General of the ODM party.
However, the decision has elicited mixed reactions from members and supporters, with some welcoming the move while others have expressed concern over its political impact on party cohesion. Political analysts argue that the development could influence the party's internal dynamics and shape its relationship with key stakeholders in the country's political landscape. As attention now turns to ODM's next steps, many will be watching closely to see who takes over the influential position and how the party navigates the unfolding leadership changes.
We were constrained as a committee to then proceed with the matter because we had, in our opinion, granted them enough time and ample time to present their case. They were unable to, And therefore we had to make a decision as to where we stand.
The decision adds a new chapter to ODM's internal politics, with its implications likely to be felt both within the party and across the broader political arena. Reporting for TAS TV, I am Victoria Mnyasi.
Vihiga Governor Wilbur Otichilo is calling for reforms in the management of Kenya's public wage bill, proposing that staffing costs in the health and education sectors be treated differently from other government expenditures.
He says the current approach unfairly inflates countries' wage bills and limits services delivery. Our reporter has more. Ruth Oyo.
Governor Wilbur Otichilo is calling for reforms in the way Kenyan public wage bill is managed. He says staffing costs in the health and education sectors should be classified separately from the government expenditures.
I think, to me, the way, areas like health and education, they should be categorized as a development and not recurrent. Because of they are categorized as recurrent, we find that we are constrained by the Finance Management Act not to employ more people. Because when I employ a nurse, they say that is a recurrent. But to me, a nurse is doing a development agenda by providing health services. Is doing so. My target is by 30th of this month, I should reach 500 million, which is going to be a milestone. And if we get that, it means we have more money to pump into development activity.
Arguing that these are essential services that directly benefit citizens. According to the governor, the current system placed unnecessary pressure on the countries and limits their ability to recruit enough healthcare workers.
The first county to release the midterm review is basically 2.5 years from starting of implementation. Implementation ought to go to 2008 June. So in the remaining 2 years, and there is some little portion that he will donate to the succeeding government. Now, together with that, we look at also what is happening at the national level. The vision has never had a comprehensive, we normally have annual reporting, but this year and possibly before December, we shall have a comprehensive assessment of the entirety of the vision so that we can have an index.
Otichilo believes the proposed changes will improve services delivery, strengthen the healthcare sector, and ensure countries can meet the growing demand for quality health and education services while maintaining responsible public spending. Reporting for TAS TV, I'm Ruth Oyo.
Kenya and Japan have signed a 22.1 billion financing agreement aimed at supporting the automotive sector, improving energy infrastructure, and advancing economic reforms.
The government says the investment will create jobs and strengthen local manufacturing.
Naomi Muteu reports.
Kenya has secured 22.1 billion Kenya shillings financing agreement with Japan aimed at boosting local vehicle assembly, manufacturing, and economic growth. The deal includes 13.1 billion Kenya shillings for the National Automotive Policy, supporting vehicle assembly, technology transfer, and skill development. Another 5 billion will improve the energy infrastructure, while 4 billion will support economic reforms. The deal includes 13.1 billion Kenya shillings for National Automotive Policy, supporting vehicle assembly, technology transfer, and skill development. Another 5 billion will improve energy infrastructure, while 4 billion will support economic reforms.
Good club. 5 billion shillings will fund the reduction of energy losses program. Reliable, affordable power is the backbone of every factory and every home. By cutting technical and commercial losses, we lower the cost of energy, steady our grid, and make Kenyan industry more competitive. Cheaper and cleaner power is the foundation of an industrial economy. Approximately 4 billion will support Kenya's reform and development agenda. This reflects Kenya's confidence and Japan's support
in the progress we are making and our commitment to responsible economic management. This will help reinforce essential public services, protect key social investments, and strengthen the institutions that underpin sustainable growth. Together, these three priorities carry a single message: Japan's trust in Kenya's direction and Kenya's commitment to manage every cent with discipline, transparency, and accountability.
Officials say the investment will create jobs, strengthen local manufacturing, and position Kenya as a regional automotive hub. The agreement also marks Kenya's first access to Japan's samurai bond market, opening a new source of affordable financing. Reporting for TAS TV, I am Naomi Mutheu.
That marks the end of our first part of news. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with more news.
This week on News Recap, politics took a new turn.
DCP blames the government of not delivering what they promised.
Health concerns sparked a fresh conversation.
The big question remains to Kenyans. Is SHA still working?
Security issues continued to make headlines, and groundbreaking discoveries captured global attention. These are the stories shaping our world. News Recap, where the week's biggest story come together.
Thank you for staying tuned. On another story, leaders allied to the government are appealing for calm ahead of the planned nationwide demonstrations.
They have urged Kenyans to maintain peace and avoid actions that could lead to violence or loss of life.
Grace Muema reports.
Government leaders are making a final push to persuade the public to skip the protest and stick to their usual schedules. Fronted by Kithure Kindiki, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, and Health CS Aden Duale, the administration has termed the movement redundant, though they insisted that any gatherings that do take place must be orderly and disciplined. Addressing congregants at a multi-denominational church fundraiser in Western Gishu County, the deputy president warned politicians against driving divisive narratives, asking them to respect the presidency and allow President William Ruto to fulfill his mandate.
Hakuna kitu kama one term kwa katiba. Ule mtu anasema one term hajasoma katiba. Katiba imesema tu term ya kwanza ni ya kuleta programs na kuleta policies na kuleta marekebisho na kuleta ile miradi ambayo inaambatana na ruwaza ya huyo kiongozi kama kiongozi wa taifa. Term ya pili ni ya kukamilisha. Mimi nashangaa kusikia kwamba wale wachochezi ambao walikuwa wanaitisha maandamano ati kwa sababu ile finance bill imeleta ushuru mpya, baada ya kuanikwa sasa wamegeuza mjadala, wamesema ya kwamba ni sawasawa, finance bill haijaleta mabadiliko, finance bill iko sawa, lakini tutaendelea na maandamano.
Meanwhile, other government-allied politicians speaking across the nation underscored that marking the anniversary of the 2024 Gen Z protests should not pave the way for the chaos, property destruction, and fatalities that marred past events.
When you are exercising Article 37 right to picket, to demonstrate, to do all this, it is not to say your right to demonstrate is greater than the right of our children to go to school.
And if there are leaders who want to perpetuate the culture of violence and impunity in our country, they must be called out.
Sisi wote tunapokumbuka wale ambao wametuacha, huwa tunaifanya kama ibada ya kanisa na tunakuwa na ukumbusho.
Tunataka mzee Masa akienda kuuza ng'ombe yao kule Nairobi, arudi akiwa salama bila kutatizwa na mtu wowote.
And I'm appealing also to the Inspector General to come out in full force to protect those people who will be going to their duties everywhere. The workers will be working on that particular day.
Reporting for TAS TV, I'm Grace Muema.
For decades, Kakuma and Dadaab have been symbols of prolonged refuge displacement in Kenya.
But a new approach is seeking to change the story, moving from traditional refugee camps to integrated communities where refugees and host communities can share opportunities and services.
However, the ambitious plans have come with both hope and challenges.
Mwakambigo has more details.
Kakuma and Dadaab are names deeply known in Kenya. For decades, they have symbolized waiting, with nearly 1 million refugees living in the country, many for 30 years or more. Across the Eastern and Southern Africa, refugees spend an average of 16 years in exile, with women and girls often facing even longer displacement. In March last year, Kenya launched the Shiraka Plan, an 11-year initiative aimed at transforming Kakuma and Dadaab from refugee camps into integrated communities where refugees and Kenyans share services, opportunities, and infrastructure. The plan, costing about $943 million, builds on models like Kalobeyei settlements, where refugees and host communities live together. However, the plan faces challenges. Host communities fear pressure on limited resources such as schools and hospitals, while some refugees worry about losing humanitarian support and their cultural identity.
Kalobey, it took us time to come to the Kalobey settlement, a lot of creativity. It was during different times. The Shirika now. The refugees themselves wish to be independent. Are we communicating enough? I think so, but we should do more to reaching out to the communities to explain that. You know, some refugees I met here said, oh, you guys now want us to lose our identity, the South Sudanese identity, through the Shirika plan. We said that was never the intention. It is not the intention of the government of Kenya. The intention is to help those who are still here as refugees for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, to be able to use their human capital to take care of themselves. So it's not about integration, but it's about inclusion, so that you are not left separate from the communities. The refugees in the region, whether in the eastern part or in southern Africa, it's one question that comes all the time. We have, either we are still registered as asylum seekers, there are our claim to be refugees or to be recognized as refugees is pending sometimes for several years. This is a major protection issue. Or people have been recognized as refugees, but their ID card do not give them the right to move freely or to open, let's say, M-Pesa.
The initiative promises refugees greater freedom through identity cards, business permits, bank access, and movement rights. But documentation remains a major barrier across the region, limiting refugees' ability to work, access services, and participate in the economy. Funding is another challenge. Cuts in international aid have reduced food assistance for thousands of refugees, while the money needed to fully implement the Shiraka plan is yet to be secured.
Here, but also with entities like the World Bank to support the issuance of documents. Several governments are willing to do it, and we are asking them, please accelerate this effort. An ID document that can help you open a bank account, that can help you trade, that can help you move, open a business, are absolutely essential protection tools that are there. That's only if you look at funding as the main driver. But funding is an enabler. So the main driver are progressive policies. When you see South Sudanese refugees coming to Kenya, they are allowed to stay, to contribute. Somali refugees coming to Kenya, allowed to stay, to contribute. It's a win-win. The Sudan refugee situation, that is the largest we have globally, is today only funded at 13%. And that is around what? 123 partners for close to 6 million people across 7 countries.
When it is only funded at 13% by mid-year, you can imagine how it...
The bigger question remains, how do you create a dignified life for people living in a crisis that has lasted for generations? Reporting for TAS TV, I'm Mwaka Mbigo.
As the country prepares to mark June 25th, calls are growing to recognize the date as a day of remembrance for those who lost their lives during the 2024 finance bill protests.
While some leaders and activists have referred to it as a people's public holiday, the government has not officially declared it a national holiday.
Our reporter Teresa Mwende has more.
Calls to recognize June 25th as a National Day of Remembrance continue to grow as Kenyans prepare to mark the anniversary of the 2024 anti-finance bill protest. The date is remembered for the historical demonstration that saw 1,000 of young people take the streets to oppose the finance bill and demand government accountability. Opposition leaders and activists have described June 25th as a day to honor those who lost their lives during the protest, thus referring to it as People Public Holiday. However, the government has maintained that June 25th is not an official gazetted public holiday and that normal activities should carry on across the country.
And will the police kill innocent Kenyans? Put in place concrete measures to prevent future violence by state agents.
June 25th naomba ikuwe holiday ya mashujaa ya watoto wetu. Na tunaomba hiyo siku tafadhali askari serikali tafadhali wasiue watoto wetu tena.
As these demonstrations are planned in various parts of the country, security agencies have assured Kenyans of adequate security while urging protests to remain peaceful and law-abiding.
Serikali imetuahidi ya kwamba itatupatia ulinzi ifikapo tarehe 25 mwezi huu, siku kuenda kucelebrate wale watu tuliowapoteza mandugu zetu. Na spokesperson wa IG amesema mapolisi watatutangulia kwa hiyo safari na mpaka mwisho.
Authorities have also warned against violence, vandalization, and any attempts or disrupt of the public order.
It shall be a public holiday. We don't need to beg for permission. There is also a demand for an apology. That apology must come quick and fast before the 25th.
These young parents are not asking for privileges, and they're not asking for tokenism. They want an acknowledgement that the worst possible crimes have been committed by his officers, and we will not rest until we get rid of that culture of impunity and police brutality.
There will be a public procession on that day asking for support from all Kenyans to participate in the 47 counties in the remembrance of their fallen children. As leaders, we are out here with them, pledging to be with them and urging the police to respect the Constitution and the rule of law.
For many young Kenyans, June 25th remains a powerful symbol of civic engagement, sacrifice, and continued call for justice and accountability. Reporting for TAS TV, I am Teresa Mwende.
Humanitarian crisis is unfolding in Baringo County as rising water levels in lakes Baringo and Bogoria continue to displace families, submerge schools, and destroy farmland.
More than 3,200 learners have been affected, while experts warn of a possible merger of the two lakes.
Our reporter has more on the growing crisis. Naomi Mora.
Baringo County is facing a worsening humanitarian crisis as rising water levels in the lakes Baringo and Bogoria continue to displace families, destroy livelihoods, and disrupt education.
Na miaka 84 lakini hatujawahi kusikia bahari imeingia hapa.
Maji imeongezeka maradufu. Hatujaona kitu kama hii. Because pahali ambayo ilikuwa imefika hapa awali imedouble. Ukijaribu kuangalia hivi mashule huko ndani kama leswa imebomolewa that week.
Hundreds of residents have been forced to abandon their homes as floods swallow villages and farmlands.
Kwa na shamba eka 5 huko chini kwa bahari. Sasa vile wakati hii floods ilikuja ikasama hadi tukaama hapa tukaomba tu place ya wenyewe.
Maji akakuja katusingira tukasema ili tutoke pande.
Na hatujui mvua kweli itafanywaje iende tubaki.
At least 12 schools have been affected, with more than 3,200 learners in Baringo North and Margaret struggling to access education after classrooms were submerged.
Kwa hata mahali walimu wanaishi hapo sasa ndio walimu wanalala, watoto pia wanalala hapo.
Hatuna shule, kupeleka tu watoto wetu shule ya Longewan, tukasaidiwa kupewa nyumba yenye watoto wetu wanasomea.
Farmers are also counting heavy losses, with vast acres of maize and tomatoes farms now.
Na ile maosa yangu ilikuwa nategea kwa hii mashamba kwa ekari yangu 20, ilikuwa natarajia kwa kila heka nipate kilo 2,000 ambayo ingekuwa tani 40.
Tukikadiria ile hasara ambayo wakulima tumepata ni karibu 720 million. Yangu kama hapa mkulima ni milioni ilienda.
Experts warn of an even greater threat: the possible merge of freshwater Lake Baringo and the saline Lake Bogoria, a scenario that could trigger a major ecological disaster.
Na inaenda kwa speed, imepaka karibu 300 meters, ndio milima kidogo tu ipande hii milima, na inatembea ni kama inataka kukutana na ile ya Lake Baringo.
Up a canal on the Loruk side towards Suguta Valley, and then allow the water of Baringo to drain into the Suguta Valley.
We are talking of a catastrophe in waiting. In some spots, the water is coming underground.
As our county authorities admit they lack resources to relocate affected families, residents are urging the national government to intervene before expected rains worsen the situation.
To think about compensating these people. And the county government cannot have funds to kind of compensate or buy land for them elsewhere. This is something that the national government under the Ministry of Special Programs should consider.
Ni janga ambalo linaweza athiri kaunti mzima na pia linaweza kuwa na matokeo kwa taifa letu.
Reporting for TAS TV, I'm Naomi Mungasia.
Turning now to the Greens and veteran golfer, this man Indiza is back in the winners' circle.
Indiza put on a spectacular show at the Limuru County Club, clinching the third leg of the PGK Equator Tour. Let's look at how he mastered the course to secure that spot, as our reporter John has more.
At the lush fairways of Limuru County Club, Kenya's golfing giant Dismas Indiza once again proved his dominance, storming to victory in the third leg of the PGK Equator Tour. And here at Limuru, the story of the day is clear. Indiza reigns supreme. His triumph not just a win, but a statement of enduring excellence in Kenyan golf.
Since yesterday I was winning because of I saw these guys that they can't beat me because the course of Mr. Kiara is here. He said the course was tough. So spin precision was tough.
Today I had to push and knock the door to try and manage Indiza, but unfortunately I didn't make it. But I'm very happy with my score today, -4 to come second.
For TAS TV Kenya, I am John Kimoni.
That marks the end of our news today. My name is Grace Tabitha.
And I am Mwangi.
This week on News Recap, politics took a new turn.
DCP blames the government of not delivering what they promised.
Health concerns sparked a fresh conversation.
The big questions remains to Kenyans. Is SHA still working?
Security issues continued to make headlines. And groundbreaking discoveries captured global attention. These are the stories shaping our world. News Recap, where the week's biggest story come together.